say good afternoon to everyone this afternoon on MCC TV. We are coming to you live from the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, MICAT. Today, Mayor John Siafa is expected here as he will be speaking to a number of critical national issues that have been trending in the public space. Today, Mayor Siafa is going to be responding to some of the issues that have got to do with the slanderous and very malicious claims that have been coming against the Monrovia City Corporation. So we ask that you stay with us and hear from the house's own mouth about the issues that you have been hearing about in the public space. We have been making a couple of rounds in the media. Just yesterday I was on Prime FM. This morning we were also on OKFM to talk about some of the issues that have been taking place at the Monrovia City Corporation, for which many of you have been making some inquiries to know what is unfolding. So we ask that you join us in a couple of minutes. The mayor is already here. He's having some chit chat with the Minister of Information, and after which he will take a stand here at the MICAT press briefing to bring you up to speed with all of the issues unfolding at the Monrovia City Corporation. We have said repeatedly that we take extreme and very immense pride in the progress being achieved under the astute and very venerable leadership of Mayor John Siafa, for which we continue to echo this progress under his leadership. We understand we live in a society where politics is always hot in the air, so we do understand that people will always want to embark on a smear campaign with the sole intent of wanting to impugn the reputation of people who are making significant strides. So initially we had thought to refrain from coming public to speak about the ongoing investigations, but because of the concerns that continue to swirl in the public space, we thought it would be important to come outside and speak to the Liberian people. And so this is exactly what Mayor John Siafa is going to be doing here this afternoon, letting the Liberian people know that contrary to the reports that you are reading, you are watching the public space, the Monrovia City Corporation was actually the one that commissioned an investigative process at the City Hall based on emerging complaints, several complaints that were emerging from the employees in the place. So stay with us today. We don't want to say much. The mayor is already here to respond to some of these issues. Thank you.
We have a briefing of a few things that's been happening at the MCC, the Monrovia City Corporation today. These ranges from our recent engagements on a number of fronts with external partners, as well as our also internal activities. To speak briefly, recently there's been a number of bilateral engagements. Sometimes we may want to know some of the things that has come out of it. The last one was with the delegation from the province of Guizhou in China. The MCC has been reaching out to bilateral partners to look for support. Through our engagements with the province, we've been able to secure a brand new fire truck that has been shipped, it's on its way. As you may know, the MCC, we're trying to set up the first fire department for the city so it can complement the efforts of the National Fire Service. For that effort, we were able to secure that. Also, with the Chinese delegation that recently left, we've been able to secure about 25 university scholarships at the master's and bachelor's level. We have spoken with the MCSS and their director of testing, conducted a number of placement tests for people at the Nipo Junior High where they did the selection, just so that people know what the process was and all that. We're hoping that those 25 young people, the interviews are going on. We strongly believe in supporting youth education, so we are continuing to secure that. Again, there's a medical mission pending from the Chinese team. They're going to come. We'll be shortly engaging the medical authorities. Our focus is around the TNIMA, they want to do in JFK, they want to do some treatment, but they also want to look involved into training in some aspects. And also we have a pending training for staff for our fiscal department in AI technology around what we do. We also have the mayor from Winston Center. We also have capacity building. They have plans to also send us some conditions to support our technical capacity in a number of areas. And last year, the bilateral funds, through our engagement with the city of Seoul, South Korea, we'll soon be launching opportunities for 100 youth to take part in online skills training, digital skills training. And 5 of those youth, we'll put them through a hackathon and put a prize money for them to develop technical solutions, problem solutions around their ideas. And the winner should be able to go to Korea with the team. Like I said, we're looking at setting up our fire department. Sometime last year, I was in the city of Trenton. They have promised us a fire truck. I'm happy to report that they finally called us that somewhere in July, August, we can pick up this truck. We've also talked to some other partners. We'll be shipping that. That makes it 2 trucks for the city. Again, the World Bank has also already shipped another 2 vehicles. So the cities should have a small fleet that can actually, I think that's good news for the disaster team. Hopefully by the end of the year, we secure 50 fire suits with the city of Dayton. So we'll be working with the National Fire Service to train those people to be able to complement. On the front of the waste management, there's recently been some bids in the newspaper. We received a number of proposals from companies interested in investing in waste management. What we did, we put up some tenders so that we can send us proposals. The report expression of interest phase has passed. There are now appeals of sending us proposals. And it's important to note that we're looking for partners to invest in the sector. Waste management, there's one thing that is clear. We need to create demand around the waste. Which means in the end, somebody has to use it either for electricity or for recycling. And we sell those plans fixed investment. But it's important to know that whatever we do, the Liberians that are involved in waste management, the CDs and the SMEs, are going to be frontliners in this. It is our hope they too, they've been free to participate in it. We're happy to see that there was one Liberian company who was also shortlisted, and we were working strong on that front to see if we can be able to have a sustainable waste management solution. It's taking some time, but we're getting there. On the local front, the MCC has within its budget with the national government $1 million as support to cleaning up the city. What we've done recently, we've engaged the Ministry of Finance, and we've designed for the first time, we've designed a strategy wherein the townships that are adjacent to us, the township of Cogatown, the township of Gowland, the township of Gardnersville, Newtown Borough, and so on. We've structured the proposal in a way that we will be using that money to secure equipment, gears, and whatever it is, to supply to those townships so we all can work together directly. A lot of times when people see waste in Douala, they say, oh, Monrovia, the mayor. When you see all the way in Ghana, you say, oh, the mayor. But these places also have commissioners that are appointed by the president of the commission, I say, and we're working together. We also have a mayor. So what we do, we try to support it and work together. In fact, as a matter of fact, we have recruited along with them. So this time, the strategy is changing. We want to develop and get to that point when you pass through Ghana Bay and you see something Ghana Bay, you will say, let me call a commissioner. You're not going to say, oh, let me call MCC. When you in Cogatown. So I told them, I said, the people that are in Cogatown that will come from Cogatown. So as a commissioner, hire your people. So we've done that. We signed a contract. He paid the people from Cogatown. I went to Newtown. Newtown, hire your people. He paid the people from Newtown. I go to Gowland, hire your people. In fact, we also donated some small tricycles that we were using. We say, you know what, this is the first tool, this is the first gear. We'll still work together with the big trucks to come and take it, but let's see. So we're trying to decentralize. It's important for people to understand what the strategy is and where we're going forward. Hopefully, by the time we get this confirmation from the government with bigger support, it will further empower all of those townships around the city so that we all can work together And we're working on a bigger strategy wherein we will be doing the door-to-door collection. Now the idea of these investors coming in is because people need the service. You need to get a truck that can go from door to door. You need people that can supply beans to people's homes. Hopefully, when we conclude those bigger tenders, they will also look at it. And it's also important to tell you that the state of Monrovia is working on a long-term plan for the development of the city. Many times we hear people talking about this project, who project, and that project. That's important, yes, performance. What we're doing as a team is we're looking at developing a long-term vision. We already have developed a concept with our consultants, with the World Bank, and other key stakeholders. We're engaging our external partners, we're engaging the public works and all other ministries shortly, so that we all can work together around developing a master plan for the city. And what people need to understand is those plans need to be based on the science. For example, the growth rate of Monrovia is 3.2% year on year. You know that 1.1 million people today, 10 years from now, might just be 1.3 million people. So the road that you need for 1 million people 10 years from now cannot be the same road. So if we can together develop a master plan for a new city, and that plan can be passed into law, hopefully, and taking into consideration now that there's a zoning law before the Senate, anyone coming next time will know that bridge roads to 5 stories. Waterway transportation will increase to stop. This and that. So the city of Monrovia, we're also working on that very, very hard to see if we can successfully get a master plan for the city of Monrovia that will work along with the incoming zoning law so that we can start to give our city a new face in the coming years. We also are very keen on our waterfront. We started to work with the Minister of Public Works. There's been some markets at homes in the community of Slipway going all over the downtown. We're working with partners abroad, the GAP Fund. We're trying to secure feasibility studies, technical feasibility funding, so that we can look at how we can clean up that waterway and move out with it, so that that waterfront can be clean. It's one of our short-term visions that we have. It's important for people to do it. The Monrovia City Police, there's been a number of good work the Monrovia City Police have been doing. There's also been a number of challenges, we know, and we want to tell the police, the public, that wherever complaints are, we're open to look into it. We got a number of complaints. They're being looked into, a number of them being suspended, a number of people of them will be charged in the court for a number of issues. We want the public to know that we're not backing down on it. While it's true, we praise them for this good work done, we also stand ready to look into any other issues of complaint. It's not going to be a perfect fix immediate, but it's important to know that some things are being have going on. Recently, internally within the city hall, we have commissioned through the 7-man committee some overview, review of our HR. When I talk about the Monrovia City Corporation, there's about 1,406 towns. We engage and manage a lot, but it's important to know that the salaries for our staff alone takes about $3.6 million, takes over 60% of our budget. Very tough. So we decided to do the physical audit verification again, even though the CSA has been there. And that report has produced some stunning findings. And we've taken that report, we've communicated it to the CSA. The CSA should be coming in between this week and next week, and to validate the report and the recommendations in the report to take actions. There are very, very stunning issues in the report, dealing with issues of, in fact, there are a good number of persons who might need to be accounted for head counts, what actions we take. Some people who have been sitting down on the week for a while, what actions we take. Hiring, there's one thing in the report where it talks about over 160 persons hired on one day. When we finally check the files of each person, how possible was that, and they're not hired by the authority involved. So the CSA is going to come in and look at those issues. We know that public there can be a lot of talk around, but we want to tell people that we are following the procedures and to look into that. Recently also, there has been a number of issues in the press and in the media with the report of fraud into the MCC. Let me say this. Fighting fraud, it's a difficult thing. It's not a one thing. You know, when we fight corruption, it has a way of fighting back. Especially when fraud is sustained. Yes, we have suspended a number of persons for fraud over the MCC. Not one, not two, not three, over 10 persons. We have a number of persons suspended and in many, many different cases. We have been silent and not spoken on these things because when these cases are under investigation and it is alleged, we as head of entity refrain from making certain comments that could jeopardize the investigation. But that does not mean that we don't know what we're doing. Yes, I have commissioned to look into a number of cases. These cases range, for example, from the issue of revenue theft, where people come in to make payments, and those cash was taken by certain individuals, and it was quoted to present false banking slips. We wrote the bank, they say, hey, this is wrong. Nothing is in our account. We suspended them and put them under investigation. We immediately reported the case to the Liberia National Police. Our internal investigations, also with the IAA, have been on top of it. We've also had cases with someone else who made another team of 5 people who had done some fake bills. Our Senate police have just come up with the findings, they're charged, they will be going to court this week. We also have another issue with another person who has done another fake receipt, and another police officer, and so on and so forth. These things are huge on a normal scale. The most recent one was the issue with our payroll. We have gotten a number of complaints to staff. Some people say the month end, $10 from my payroll, $5 from my payroll, $6 from my payroll. And we asked our finance team to look into this. And the finance team reported to the head, and they gave us an explanation, which we have the records. There were changes in the rates, there were social security issues, there were this and there were that. So we said, okay, that was someone dying in February. Recently with the fraud issues, now we do this, we suspended a number of persons in the finance department and we appointed an acting controller. Now, while the guy is acting, we send a payroll to the bank to get paid. But then, we gather all that comments with these complaints about this salary thing, so I said, hey, go down to that bank and get information on this. We have to look into this again. Strangely, the guy goes to the bank and realizes that one of the staffs that are under suspension from the finance department has sent another payroll to the bank. And because there's someone colluding in the bank, they decide to honor that payroll, even though I have sent a letter to them telling them that this person is not the signatory to the account anymore. We have an issue. The immediate next day, I wrote to the internal audit department, I wrote to the bank, I also wrote to the Liberia National Police, and I suspended over 8 of those staff immediately. Of course, you will see a lot of things standing up. It's not easy to be fighting to clean up payroll, hundreds of people are stricken up, and fix salary disparities. Right now we have issues with all of that. It's not easy to be fighting a different number of fraud. Yes, people will try to distort the truth and say that. I have particularly refrained because when issues are under investigation, we want to let it through. Because some people may be vindicated while some people may be forthcoming. So I refrain from going into the substantives of it. Meanwhile, while we have already sent those informations to the IAA, because internal investigations are important, and to the Liberia National Police, who is currently investigating them, we receive a letter from the FIA requesting information related to the same payroll issue. And I want to state, nobody's under investigation, requesting information. I want to let you know that we have supplied that information to the FIA. We have nothing to hide. I want to let you know that we initiated all of the investigations. We have sent communications outside to people. And so this whole idea of distorting because people have this taste for bad news and for seeing people this and that, which is terrible. We are here to provide the right information. Lastly, and then you will soon find other people acting as a whistleblowers for something that is already going on and acting as a whistleblower situation. Fighting fraud, like I say, systemic fraud is not going to be easy. When you have a whole department where people are affected, you have a whole team here where it is, You're not talking about just one person when somebody just when they stole something and just come. You're talking about, a whole series of things that are going on. We want to encourage the public, lastly. The MCC, I mentioned the last time, has a one-stop shop. Stop giving money to people to process your payments. Stop giving money. When we send a bill out, we put on that bill the account number. Go to the bank and pay your money directly. We also have EcoBank in the one-stop shop that we are selling. The first one-stop shop in City Hall we are set up. Please come and use it. Don't give money to people and start coming to us. We have too many cases that I can't even hear. Another thing again, I want to encourage the people in the market that we have issue with Howard Junction. Don't give police officer money. When you bring a complaint of bribery to me for a police officer, know that you too that gave the money is culpable because you're not supposed to bribe the person. So please, do not give the police officers any money. I want to tell you, I will keep you posted as these investigations are going on. Whatever comes out of them, we'll let you know. It will be public. And those who need to go to court will be sent to court. But I will let all of those institutions that's supposed to do the work do the work. We're committed. It's not an easy job. It's a tough job. Yes, we're fighting a lot of these things, but we're committed to seeing how we can make progress.
I don't know how people are really two previous people have spoken for no, you cannot be speaking the same name. Okay, I was speaking, that's the same name, but I hope beyond it, this is Honorable Acting Minister of Information, Honorable Mayor, the family of the Ministry of Information, I feel energized being in the space where I normally come to address you, and I change as if I'm in heaven. As I look around, the beautification of this place signifies to us that the Ministry of Information is beyond the normal trajectory. So I want to say thank you for that. Normally when we come here, we talk on issues that directly affect the nation. What is the number 5? That the rainy season in Liberia generally runs from May to October, with the highest rainfall among concentrated in 4 months. For this year in 2025, the peak of the rainy season in Liberia is expected from June to September. The period is expected to see the higher rainfall among throughout this year, with June and September averaging in excess of 1,000 millimeters and June and August averaging in excess of 800 millimeters in Monrovia alone. This is according to the World Bank forecast. Meanwhile, the Rabat International Airport Meta Weather Station and the NOAA Integrated Surface Database have also reported that the wind speed will be from 4 miles per hour from June to August to 8 miles per hour from September to December, which will be accompanied by heavy storm of 73 miles per hour from July to October. So what is the prediction? What do we expect to happen during this time of the year? Approximately over 60,000 inhabitants of lowland, coastal and flood-prone communities are expected to get affected by flash flood and coastal flooding. What do we mean by that? In disaster management language, when we say flash flood, we mean that the rain that will come and the water will sit and in within the spread of the eye go beneath the surface of the eye. What is happening right now in countries that never experienced flooding, we are becoming to see flooding in those countries that nearby in one country. Also, the magnitude of the windstorm anticipated, structure that are not climate resilient are expected to get heavily hit, which may lead to severe displacement of affected people. We will experience this year more roofs that will be de-roofed by the windstorm. Buildings will be dislodged. The citizens and inhabitants of those buildings will be running from house to house for safety and shelter. That is the prediction. These conditions are predicted to give rise to other health-related issues. So concomitantly, the rainfall will see the rise of health issues, either chloride or waterborne diseases. Now, what is Liberia preparedness? Are we fully prepared as a country? Have we tested our preparedness? Have the Liberia, the National Disaster Management Agency, simulate any event, be it an epidemic, flooding, fire disaster, or accident, for example? Where do we stand as a nation? As part of our preparedness, the President of the Republic of Liberia has filed Executive Order number 141 preventing encroachment on wetlands. Most of our problem is ourselves. Wetlands have become dry land within the finger of our eye. The wetland is now places where people dry and build houses. Forgetting to know that that also is where the water is supposed to be stored. And so you build in the wetland. You dry the mangrove swamp. Then you expect to get different results. No, you will live like a fish and alligator. Because this is where the fish is supposed to be. There's nowhere it's supposed to be. Then you dry where it's supposed to be. And then when it rains, the water will come back. The water will come. Snakes, alligators, fish, especially tilapia fish, will come. And then you call for help. This occurring help for who be disaster victims that expect to be victims because the building is from there will not continue forever. The NDMA is currently working with the Ministry of Public Works and other designated institutions to open drainages and waterways under the Urban Resilience Project funded by the World Bank. Several coordination meetings have been held with flood response plan developed to address any who be flooded. Monitoring systems have been put in place to any health-related hazard that may emerge as a result of flooding. The World Bank has designated a consultant. And so what do we want to do different this year? We have spoken to the World Bank. Our disaster financial strategy is already being developed in the draft stage. How the World Bank will be able to sponsor disaster when it occurs. I just want to let you know something. That disaster is not the actual occurrence of the disaster itself. Disaster begins with our preparedness and mitigation. You have to prepare. Because recovery is more expensive their response, their mitigation, their awareness. So we want to develop ourselves. The NDMA want to invest more in prevention, mitigation, and awareness than responding. We can continue to be giving legal rights. They began leveling for some people now. So the World Bank, through our engagement, have hired this year disaster risk consultant for the NDMA for 120 days in a period of 4 months. They will be with us, they will advise us, and they will give us the strategy. What is the SOS for and advice to the nation? We are hereby advise the public to put measures in place that will help alleviate the impact of flooding and other related hazards. In the event that the situation overwhelms any part of the population, the public is advised to call the NDMA hotline 2024. I'll recapitulate what I just said. The public is advised to call the NDMA hotline 2024. And or any other emergency number like 1199, 445, etc. The National Disaster Management Agency is moving forward. Our coordinating center, the Emergency Operational Center, is being fully operationalized, well furnished for all line agencies to meet and discuss issues as it relates to disaster management agency. On the sense of the fact that the Minister of Information said we should be very brief and short, I will stop here for now to encourage questions and answers that will also be brief and short. Thank you.
So this is as you
so we'll take, I don't know how many persons in line. We try as much as possible to limit one journalist for a question. And no long basis, we ask a question. So why brief on the start, I'm going to say right away. Come on. Thank you, Minister. Are you going to now? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions on the line. 6 questions on the line. Please introduce yourself. Be very laconic, our bishop.
My name is Joseph Salim and I report for MCC Radio, 105.7. My first question goes to the head of the National Disaster Management Agency. You as head of the National Disaster Management Agency that have a responsibility to deal with disaster issues, do you think as a disaster management agency, in violation of Part Section 508 of the Code of Conduct that talks about political participation today, you still remain your position as chairman of ACO? You saw people at your office protesting. Your action, don't you think your action is disastrous? Do you think you're ready for a disaster? Thank you.
My name is George Momo, and I report for this. For the record, when you know that question. Yeah. Okay. When you know that question. You have to, hello, you have to go to treat the guests with respect. And take the guests with also with respect. If you have an opinion, let's say I get to say, don't I get question to answer. Yeah? I'm going to allow you to take questions. Thank you. My name is George.
to the disaster management. Can you have it quiet, please? Last rainy season, we did well in terms of school, but at the end of it, we got complaints of people who were greatly mad by flood, were not captured. So I want to know, where do we stand as disaster management agency of the Republic of Liberia in terms of data? Where do we stand? Whether it's data clerk, preparedness, and what have you. So to the MCC, when you look over,
so I am Olu and my question goes to the MCC. Thank you so much for the job that you're doing. To recognize it. But there's the information that, especially Liberians, some of them from the left party, talking about you are employing your refugees. How do you qualify in a single direction? You get announced that there are a lot of corruption in your entity. How are you managing that institution? Then you publicly telling us that there is a lot of corruption cases. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Desmond William, and I report for Democracy Watch and newspaper. For the sake of the gallery, I'm being restricted that we are going to ask one question, and I'm referring to direct one question to the mayor of the city of Monrovia, who I think will not have the time to see anytime soon. The local government out of 2018 gives the responsibility to townships to collect municipal taxes for the day-to-day affairs of their respective areas of assignment. Unlike under your leadership, you have gone into MOUs of these townships around Mosulado, I said around Monrovia, like the township of Gaglo, to be specific. Gaglo township and the city of Monrovia are going to an MOU talking about, let's complete answer question. Minister, we cannot restrict the press. Sometimes this is not necessary. So the thing is, the township of Gaglo and your area of assignment, the MCC, you're going to an agreement with the people. I have copy of the agreement. I speak for the agreement based on my own level of information that you were to provide from the beginning of this agreement $600,000, and you were to also provide brand new tricycles to the township to be able to enhance their sanitation, management services. On the contrary, you were later openly that you have provided on an already used tricycle that was used previously by your entity to the township that you have signed agreement with, that has been experiencing breakdown. I don't know whether that is a question.
Thanks to the ministry. Today I'm one of the happy men who are witness the press conference at another time. Thank you very much. My first goes to the National Disaster Management Agency, Mr. Gordon President. So now you are invited to speak to the public.
They ask questions.
Yeah, I'm going to read questions. So my question is, we use several vocabularies. For example, conformity, Kalikawa, you care to bring this down so
Hello, please have them quiet, please.
One minute. Hello. On the start of the press conference, I asked that we're giving you a real public office. And I asked you to take care of the office. The whole world is watching. And the way you're going about the press conference is not professional. I don't think you want us to be constrained to start telling you about the Republican problem, the Republican problem. We expect all of you to sign by your bureau entities. And as a government, we are open to working with you. But you have to understand that this is a premier platform where the government has lost speech from. And we cannot afford to drop the standard of the thing to do here. Please pay attention to this thing.
My name is how is the national disaster management ensuring that these alarms effectively reach vulnerable communities and in a timely and actionable manner?
Thank you.
In regard to what is performing at the MCC, I think that you make representation that you did also include at the MCC. And with the current question asked, I think are these things happening in your regime or the things that you directed in regard to overview, overstaffing, and so forth? I'm Otis Knight, and I do work for Society Language. My question goes to MCC. There's this information that says you have actually appointed your brother as a director of the AD at the MCC. Can you please say more about that? So my name is Reginald Levy from the Liberia News Agency. My question goes to Siafa. I cover the MCC under the leadership of the where we saw the signing ceremony of Sister Civic Corporation in the US. I want to know whether those agreements stay on track with other cities in the US and other countries in the globe. Thank you.
Well, thank you. There's a few questions. Let me be clear, I got two brothers, one 14 and 15. I think you know the legal age for employment in the country. Go check my records when I was being sworn into office and check my Bible. That answers your question. And I don't think anybody in the sound mind will decide to take. I mean, some people might do it, but to answer the question, no. The information is false. Gabula Township. Let me just let you know. You speak to all of the townships. There's always been an agreement between the townships and Monrovia. Something that you know, and this is a problem. As a matter of fact, from June 15th to the 20th, the Governor's Commission will be having some engagements. Part of the engagements here are looking at the redemarcation of Monrovia. I made it clear to you that when you get down in Douala, people say, where you going? They say, I want to Monrovia. Are you ready in Monrovia? No. You are in the township of Lukuta. But when you see the bumper there, they say, no, that MCC. Isn't that what happens? There is this thing where people believe the MCC should offer services to all of these locations, but these locations already have structure. We do not tend to overlook. We respect that. And I made it clear to you that for the first time, the funds that the government allocated to the MCC, we have submitted in the program of the project documents to the Ministry of Finance, allocating all of that funds on all of the township. And when that goes through, we will see how we can now supply each township for the first time for MCC with gears, with tools. And I told you now we have made initial submission to them. So it is a partnership. I think that clarifies it. There's no issue here of someone taking advantage of someone. Well, issues of the bank. I refrain, like I said, from going into the substantive of the issues. I could be naming all of the staffs and all of the bank But when the issues are under investigation, we want to be very careful how we come out with information. And I made it clear to you that I was constrained to come here to talk about the fraud in my briefing because of the mis and the distorted informations that are being carried out on some media that were under investigation, instead of the fact that we have instituted these investigations. And Sister Cities, yes, Sister Cities, we are increasing our relationship with Sister Cities. There is one Sister City agreement that we have with a city in Charlotte, North Carolina, that has never really been active. But all of the engagements you see us going on with the Chinese and all of those, we're trying to push, people-to-people relationship at the bilateral level, not only looking for funding on the government and looking to collect tax. Because it takes time to build our own source revenue capacity. It takes time. And we as a city need funds, so we reach it out. On the last issue that you talked about corruption happening on the day, I think you got to answer for yourself. I will know when the corruption started, and I treat investigation. I will know that whether any organization in Liberia doesn't have corruption in them. I cannot tell you emphatically that these people that have done this act started this act when I became mayor. I could almost tell you no, because systemic things are not developed in one day and 1 week, So I would say let's let those initial major investigations go on. And I told you that has not been the only one. Imagine you running a large organization with many branches and many staffs and having to deal with this. It's not so easy, but again, we are working on it. As it comes, it is our responsibility to deal with it and see how we can equally deal with the day-to-day activities that is required for us in our statutory roles. Thank you, and I'm available. I want to encourage the press. Look, if beyond these things you need to ask for any other questions, our Press and Public Affairs Director is Mr. Wani. He's right here. Instead of some newspapers just running out and reaching and not saying things, we got nothing to hide. Take the time with him. Come. Let's sit down. Let's not only talk about the bad news, but let's also talk about some of the good news that we're doing in the city. The issue of the master plan, the upcoming public summit with the Governor's Commission, where we're talking about not only let me tell you one last thing before I go. Some of the things we're talking about. When you want to put a small renovation or build a house in the city, you will go to MCC with their permit. You will come when you go to you see LA on the wall, start working. You go inside, you will see the wall. We try to discuss all the things that you go to public where you will get permit. All those things are what we're trying to set with the Governor's Commission. We have submitted the paper to them and said, look, we need to ease the burden on the residents. We need to look at how we can synchronize some of these things. There are very important things to talk about. And lastly, if the team at MCC is stated that it's over 200 years, so it's supposed to be 1822. If that team is not structured to deliver on the vision for this city, which every 10 years right time, we'll always say, look at Ghana, how it's going. Look at Nigeria. We'll always say, just say, look at. Let's work together. Let's make real change. Let's put the facts where they belong and start looking for just bad news and all of that. Thank you very much.
Questions were reduced, and then we'll answer those ones that were germane with our presentation. So somebody asked a question.